What up, YouTube? It's Truckin' Stone. I'm back here again underneath my thinking tree. I've decided to call this tree the thinking tree. So today was day 9. We got our checks and our application for our commercial driver's license. We had to go up to the DPS office and pay the $41, which is what the state of Texas charges for the skills test, and turn in our application. This was the third time that I've been to a DPS office in the past 2 months. The first time was in San Antonio when I was living there to get my commercial learner's permit. I passed all 4 tests my first day, and I also got my medical card before I went there. And then the second time was when I changed my address to Lubbock because I had 3 job opportunities that I thought I was going to have. But it turns out that a lot of trucking companies, their insurance needs you to have driving experience in order for you not to have to put like $20,000 or $25,000 down to be able to get that new driver covered. And I wasn't willing to finagle things to get on their policy. I felt that was kind of unethical. So my third trip was today. Of course, we didn't have an appointment because we didn't know when we would be able to get dropped off there. So for the third time, I sat in a DPS office for about 5 hours. It was not as bad as people make it out to be, but it was still very boring, and it is what it is. You have to get it done. You have to sign those papers in front of a notary public, which most people at your driver's license offices are notary publics, but there's only so many of them. So it is what it is. I got all that done. We got picked up from the same guy that dropped us off this morning. I called the office and let them know that the 7 of us from my class that went up there to do the application were ready, and they were there to pick us up in 20 minutes. So if there's one thing that I'm learning about this whole career change, is that communication is key. And if you can't communicate clearly and you can't do it promptly, it will end up costing you. But thankfully, I know how to use my resources, and I know how to save phone numbers. So I called the office, and we had a ride in 20 minutes. Got back out to the range, and there was a lot of people out there from the incoming class doing their pre-trip inspection on the vehicles we have been driving, learning how to back. And they were taking up a lot of space, and so we weren't able to do our parallel parking because there was too many people out there and somebody might get ran over. Again, there was a lot of negative Nancy's. I'm taking that's just kind of prone in this business. I don't get it. Negativity doesn't get you anywhere except with more negativity. So if you just stay positive and keep a positive mindset and expect positive things will happen. And I expected to learn how to parallel park a semi-truck today. So when everybody was saying, well, we're done for the day, and the instructors don't want to do anything because of all these people out here, I got out of my chair, went over to the director of the school. My backing instructor was right there with him. They were talking. I politely stood about 5 or 6 feet away, waited for them to finish their conversation. They both turned to me and said, "Can I help you?" And I said, "Yes, it's 3 o'clock and we usually stop at 5, and I was at the DPS office today filling out my application. I was just wondering if I'm going to get to learn how to do my parallel parking." They looked at me, and the director, who I haven't really got to talk to a whole lot, he said, "You're Brian, right?" And I said, "Yes, sir, I am." He said, "How are you enjoying the school so far?" And I told him, I said, "It's great. I don't have a problem with it. I think it's an excellent way to train people. They're getting stressed, which They're going to be stressed driving a truck for the first time. It is what it is. If you're not stressed and you're not a little bit nervous, there's something probably wrong. Because once that truck does get loaded and you're on your own, you need to be aware of what's going on. And so I'm grateful for the training that I've been getting. And he said, okay. He said, well, I don't see why you guys can't do your parallel. You've got a couple of hours. Let me and Charles get these students out of y'all's way, and we'll get some trucks pulled out. I said, okay, great. So I turned around and I walked back to the chair that I was sitting in earlier. And the guys started in again about how the day was over and how we were all done. And I informed them that instead of talking with other students and instead of being negative, I took positive action and went to the director and the instructor, and they just confirmed that in the next 10 minutes they're going to pull the trucks up and get them lined up for parallel, and they're going to instruct us how to do it and then let us practice. So to stop being negative, and if you are going to continue to be negative, please leave my area. So that was kind of cool. They did. They pulled the trucks up. Our instructor gave us a few instructions, and then we jumped in the trucks. I was the third person to get in the truck with a 53-foot trailer, Robert. It was a 53-foot trailer. And I messed up on my first attempt. I cut it in too early. I had the right angle, but I was a little too early. And so I hit a cone, is what it is. I pulled forward, I reset. The second time, I got it in the hole. Now, for our skills test, we are using a 48-foot trailer. I know that that's 5 feet shorter than what most OTR trailers are, but I, with experience backing up trailers, actually kind of think that's a good thing because shorter trailers react faster to your tractor's input. So I think actually backing with a shorter trailer is a really good idea because it technically is a little bit tougher because it does react faster, and so the driver needs to pay more attention with a shorter trailer. For you guys that haven't driven a trailer before or anything like that, the longer the distance is in between your tandem axles on your trailer and your drive axles, the further the distance is, the slower the reaction is. Whereas if the tandem axles on your trailer are closer to your drive axles on your tractor, it's going to react a lot faster. You actually get to see this a lot when people haul U-Haul trailers and stuff like that, and they have a really hard time backing them into their driveway. Well, the reason why is because it's such a short distance that everything happens a lot faster. So anyway, without that explanation, I got the 48-foot trailer in my first try. I pulled it back out, set up again, and I got it in my second try. I'm pretty sure Brian's ready for the backing. Yeah, I am. So I feel really proud of myself, and tomorrow we're going to get to do more practice on the parallel, so I'll be able to get that down pat and be able to move forward. I may even get to start driving tomorrow, like if I get the parallel down like first thing in the morning, because I've already been out on the road driving, and that's what I really want and need to practice is my double clutching, even though I pretty much already have it down. So that's positive. On other news, hang on just one second.